Hey guys, how's it going? In today's video, I want to talk about the other upcoming heavyweight title fight between Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk. Now, I would have preferred to have seen Joshua versus Fury for the undisputed title. However, this is the next best thing in my opinion. So, Oleksandr Usyk is one of my favorite fighters in the sport at the moment. I think he's pretty much a top 5 pound for pound boxer in the sport in terms of skills, boxing skills. Very skillful, slick southpaw with great legs and great lateral movement. And I think those are some of the things that's going to give Anthony Joshua real big problems in this fight. However, Joshua, he's improving as a fighter. We've seen, his boxing skills and boxing IQ is developing. When he first came onto the scene and when he first became heavyweight champ, he was very stiff and quite slow, very stiff, and he was really just looking for big shots. He wasn't using his jab as well as he is now. So his jab has developed, his boxing skills and boxing IQ has developed. His legs have definitely improved. He's moving a lot better. He's a little bit lighter since he lost to Andy Ruiz, so he's improving a lot as a fighter as well. So he's not just a big man. He's a very skillful big man. And a very good counter puncher as well. So this is, in my opinion, going to be a very high level chess match. You make a mistake and then it could be all over. So nobody's going to want to make a mistake. So I think it's going to be a very cagey first couple of rounds in this fight, because both guys are thinkers in there. Neither of these guys are just a hyper aggressive fighter that comes out swinging like Derek Chisora is. So I think it's going to be, like I say, a high level chess match, which I think suits Usyk, because Usyk is, now they're both Olympic gold medalists, but in my opinion Usyk is still on another level in terms of boxing smarts and boxing IQ to Anthony Joshua. Now, because Usyk has had to rely on that his whole career, whereas Joshua, he kind of had that power, so he was able to just, blast guys out of there early in his career and in the amateurs, as well as, quite deep into his career. I mean, he won the world title. He had hardly gone over 4 or 5 rounds by the time he knocked out Charles Martin, because, he was just knocking guys out. Usyk, he has a decent knockout percentage, but he's a boxer first, so he has respectable power as well. I mean, he can definitely hurt Joshua in this fight as well, in my opinion. And if he hurts Joshua, he could stop Joshua. We've seen Joshua's chin get hit before, and he hasn't got the greatest of chins. Now, he hasn't got a bad chin, but it showed that it can be dented in a fight. Somebody can put a dent in it and put him down. So this fight, in my opinion, like I say, it's a near 50-50 fight, because Joshua has a very big size advantage over Usyk, and he's got a power advantage and a big strength, big physical advantages over Usyk. He's got the height, he's got the reach, he's got the weight, he's got the power. So he's got all the physical advantages in this fight. And like I said, I think Usyk has the mental advantage in this fight on boxing IQ. Now, like I said, Joshua's no mug when it comes to boxing IQ. He's a very smart boxer as well. He sets a lot of traps in there, and we've seen it. He's a beautiful counter puncher. He can land some great counter punches, and his jab is really developing, as well as his movement, like I said. But I think Joshua is a good fit for Usyk, because I think the harder matchup for Usyk is going to be when somebody is not as much of a thinker and just comes out and tries to be hyper aggressive, almost like Chisora tried to do to him. Now, Chisora hasn't got the physical ability to be able to do that, because he can only do it for 3 or 4 rounds and then he's out of gas. And Usyk just picked him apart and put on a boxing clinic in that fight, in my opinion. Although there were some people saying Chisora should have got a draw and this and that. I very much disagree with that. I thought Usyk won very clearly. I thought Usyk hurt Chisora a couple of times in that fight, and I would have liked to have seen him be more aggressive and try and finish Chisora in that fight, because he was out of gas and he had been hurt a couple of times in that fight. But Usyk chose to just stay on the back foot and just box smart and not take any risks of getting caught by a wild shot by Chisora. But like I said, in my opinion, that's the type of fighter that can give Usyk problems. If we could go back in time, I think a Joe Frazier would, that style, and somebody that can do it for 12 rounds, because Chisora tries to implement that style. He's a very poor man's Joe Frazier, and he can only do it for about 2 or 3 rounds, and he's up in age, but he is a very physically strong guy. He has that advantage. But I think if you could go back in time to like a Joe Frazier, that type of style would give Usyk problems because it's relentless, and I'm not sure he'd be able to keep Joe Frazier off of him. But he has got great lateral movement, so I'm not saying that he can't. We saw Ali was able to, do pretty well against Joe Frazier, although Joe Frazier caused him a lot of problems too. So in my opinion, that's the type of style that can cause Usyk a lot of problems. Somebody that's just hyper aggressive and not really willing to play chess with him. They just, they're not in there trying to think with him. They're just trying to bulldog him, get up close on him, and just land big shots on him and rough him up. Low blow him, hit him behind the head, just hit him anywhere you can. Now, I think that's a style that can give Usyk a lot of problems. Now, with Joshua, he's not that type of guy. I mean, if he could be that type of guy, I think that would be dangerous for Usyk because, he's a big, strong guy. He's taller, he's longer, he has more power. If he comes out and just lets his hands go, he could easily take Usyk out. But that's not in Joshua's nature, in my opinion. And Joshua's a thinking man's fighter. And he's a very cautious fighter as well. He doesn't want to take too many risks in there. He doesn't want to get caught. He's not that type of fighter. He's a thinking man's fighter. It's almost like he's learned, from, fighters like Klitschko, that he's been in training camps with him, and he's almost trying to develop into like a Klitschko type fighter. It looks like that's where he's trying to mold his game around. And you saw in the Andy Ruiz fight, when he did get a rush of blood and he started exchanging once he hurt Andy Ruiz, he got put down. So that's fresh in his mind. He does not want to be just taking chances and exchanging with people. So he doesn't really do that too much. And when he does, it didn't go too well. It happened in the Dillian White fight. He started exchanging. He got hurt with a left hook. The Klitschko fight, he got put down. But now Klitschko was just, a really elite boxer. So that's a different story. But in the Andy Ruiz fight, he exchanged with him and he got put down. He ended up losing his belt. So he definitely doesn't want to do that. That's something that he's probably trying not to do, not to get a rush of blood and not to exchange, because that hurts his gas tank and he can get, clipped in the fight and get put down. So that's not who he is. But I think that's what might give Usyk problems. And, he doesn't do that. So I think that fits Usyk well. Also think because Joshua is such a big muscular guy, he can't fight at the same pace Usyk can fight at. I think Usyk's going to be able to tire him out by using that lateral movement and getting in and out on him, almost like a bit of a Pacquiao type of vibe, where he jumps in and out and then he's back out of range and he makes you chase him and then he's back in and back out quite suddenly. Almost that type of vibe, like a drive-by shooting. He can turn it into a drive-by shootout with the poor guy, because his feet are going to be a lot better than Joshua's, because I think Usyk has some of the best legs in boxing, some of the best footwork in boxing. So I think there's going to be a foot speed gap in this fight. So I think Usyk's going to be the one winning the battle of the lead foots, getting outside Joshua's lead leg, giving him the advantage to land that left hand down the pipe on Joshua. But it's not going to be an easy fight for Usyk, because he's going to have to be on top of his game for the full 12 rounds. Because I don't think he's going to stop Joshua, with Joshua being much bigger and physically stronger than him. I don't see him really stopping Joshua. However, it's not out of the realms of possibility. But I think it's going to go 12 rounds. And I think Usyk's going to have to be obviously on his game. He can't make a mistake because if he makes a mistake and Joshua catches him, Usyk probably will get knocked out by Joshua if he gets caught by Anthony Joshua. I mean, Joshua, he's a real heavyweight. Usyk's kind of a blown-up cruiserweight. I think he's a natural cruiserweight. That's, we've seen he's trying to put on weight. I think he's about 100 kgs at the moment. But he's starting to look a little bit pudgy and soft around the midsection. So I think he's a natural cruiserweight. So if he gets caught by Anthony Joshua, that could be the end of the night for him. So he's going to have to be on top of his game for all 12 rounds. However, like I said, I think he has the boxing ability and pedigree to do it. So in this fight, look, like I say, it's near 50-50. I'm leaning towards Usyk. I think Usyk's going to be able to put on that boxing clinic, and win a competitive, hard 12-round decision. Now, with the fight being in the UK, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure whether he'll get the decision in that fight, but Look, I think Usyk can do it. I think Usyk has the boxing skills to give Anthony Joshua a lot of trouble in there. Um, like I said, I think he's Joshua's kryptonite because he has that boxing. It's similar to Tyson Fury being Anthony Joshua's kryptonite in a lot of people's minds. The boxing ability, the jab, the boxing IQ, the movement, and the defense. It's all things that give Anthony Joshua problems, in my opinion. If you go, it's the same with Canelo Alvarez. I have the same belief that the guys with real good legs and lateral movement give these guys problems. So, look, we're going to find out if it's going to give Anthony Joshua problems. In my opinion, Usyk's going to give him a lot of problems. Like I say, it's not an easy fight to pick, but I'm leaning towards Usyk to win by 12-round decision, although that's not going to be easy in the UK. But let me know what you guys think in this fight. Who you guys picking? Like I say, I think Usyk's going to pull it off. Let me know who you guys are picking. And tell me how the fight plays out in the comment section below, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.